Thank you for listening to Life Improvement Radio. You are listening to a rebroadcast of a previously recorded show.
We're live at the Miami Book Fair, powered by Life Improvement Radio on the Total Education Network. Again, my website, TotalTutor.net for more information. Twitter, Total Tutor, Neil S. Haley, Facebook, LinkedIn, Neil Haley, Instagram, Total Tutor, Pinterest, Neil Haley, and Google Plus, Neil Haley. The first hour are live, and we are going to be taking a break for Life Improvement Radio programming in about 12 to 13 minutes. But we got to keep rolling on with my producer, Eric Remmel, and I'm excited to welcome to the program author Marilyn Johnson. Marilyn, thanks for calling and welcome to Miami. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great. I'm having a good time here.
Well, I can tell you're having a good time and you want to chit-chat. One thing that what I've done since I guess I started these interviews, Marilyn, leading up to the book fair in September, what I have done is basically highlight how tremendous this book fair is. And the live thing is a little different than when I pre-record everything before, but what's so fun is just the atmosphere in the weekend and different things. And we got to participate in the Miami Book Fair, Eric and I, in Miami. We hope someday to come back. But Marilyn, is this your first time at the Miami Book Fair, by the way?
Yes, it's my first time, and I may have written a book, but I am a complete reader and fangirl when it comes to my fellow authors here, and everybody I can think of is here.
Isn't it a lot of fun? I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Eric.
No, I said, isn't it a lot of fun to get to interact, even as an author, with your favorite authors, and
yes.
You know, it's just fun to network and get to see them speak and get their autograph and talk to them and take pictures. It's a lot of fun. It's a great experience.
It's a great experience. So, and you know what, I mean, this may be obvious to say, but being a writer is spending an awful lot of time by yourself. And so the party atmosphere of being able to celebrate books, you know, which are really, you know, solitary type things, whether you're a reader or a writer, there's something really quite special about people who do this, all getting together and yapping their mouths off.
Most definitely. Tell us a little bit about your background. Since this is your first novel, where'd you come up with the idea for it?
Well, this is actually my third book. It's a nonfiction book about archaeologists, and I've written two other books. I wrote a book called The Deadbeat about obituary writers, and a book called This Book Is Overdue about librarians and archivists. And I'm very interested in professions where the people don't make a lot of money, but they toil away out of passion and collect bits of, you know, our cultural history for everybody's benefit. And, you know, that's sort of what I do, too.
Very cool.
Now, Marilyn, it's interesting when you talk about archaeology and stuff like that, and looking at those two other books you wrote are fascinating as well, but I guess the life of an archaeologist, Marilyn's never highlighted a lot, right? You hear about it. We had an author on that was an archaeologist before. I think it was a couple years ago in the Miami Book Fair. Sometimes it's a blur to me, but their lives, what goes on and how they, I guess, research and do all these things is quite fascinating that people really don't get to learn about, right?
Right, and it's dirty business, man. I mean, they get dirty and muddy, and they're in the full sun at the height of summer in really, you know, pretty warm places, and, you know, insects crawling all over. I mean, it is a very uncomfortable profession, and yet why do these people do it? It's, you know, there's so much suspense when you go to unearth a piece of earth that has not been turned over in hundreds or thousands of years.
Absolutely, and what I'm so interested in archaeology, Marilyn, is the life of Jesus and the Old Testament and all these different things, and how we're able to dig up specific things of that time period, or even the Egyptians. I have an undergrad in history, and this is something where I love to dig deep more and more and look at these things and think about it. And think archaeology leads to science, it leads to math, it leads to social studies, it leads to everything, because how are we going to know what happened tens of thousands of years ago or even millions of years ago if we didn't have archaeology?
Well, and it turns out that our history books are not complete. We don't know all that much about the past, and there are things that we can't identify. There are mysteries. Why is Machu Picchu? How did people who did not have the wheel get those giant blocks of stone into such beautiful shapes? How did they make cities way in the mountains without the wheel? Nobody knows. It's a mystery, and it's fascinating to stand where your ancestors might have stood and to feel that connection.
It's really interesting.
Feeling that connection, Eric. Don't you agree? That's so important in a way of everyone's profession, right, Eric?
I agree, and it's so interesting to see when, it doesn't happen often, but it's so amazing to me when archaeologists can find a discovery that's just kind of set somewhere in the corner of our planet for years, sometimes, thousands or millions of years, and you guys get to rewrite history. It's just so interesting to me, and it's kind of like the unspoken heroes of our society. They don't get a lot of publicity for rewriting history or making a discovery, but yet they still do it day in and day out. And like you said, for sometimes very little or no pay.
Yeah, I've learned a tremendous amount of history doing this book, and I also had a great deal of fun talking to archaeologists about Indiana Jones. It took them.
I love Indiana Jones and the Indiana Jones movies. I think that was the first time that made archaeology fun, Marilyn.
That's right. That's right.
And
a lot of archaeologists are archaeologists because they were inspired by those movies.
That's just what I was going to say. So many kids love those movies and saw, oh, wait, I get to wear a cool hat, a fedora, and carry a whip and go around the planet and find all these really cool things. I'm totally going to be that guy.
I'm totally going to be that guy. It's but the thing is,
yeah.
What they think is treasure in those movies, that's not what's treasure to archaeologists. Archaeologists, the treasure is what they find out. It's not the gold or the gems. It is what they learn.
Absolutely, and I was just pulling up your Facebook personal page and friending you, Marilyn, because you're fascinating, and I want to talk to you about your other books down the line. So we'll definitely stay pals in this short interview process, especially. I guess what you learned so much from these, right? From doing the research and writing these books. Correct.
I feel like I knew nothing before I started this project. I knew nothing, and I know so much more about human beings from the Ice Age to 5 minutes ago, and with particular little stopping in at the Revolutionary War. And it's made my life so much richer to hang out with people who are alert to history and take bits of history that have not been fit into the puzzle and try to puzzle it out. My heroes.
Yeah, and you know what would you say next would be the next thing, and the next research you would do? What do you think?
Oh,
I mean, like,
know.
you want to uncover the lives of professional wrestlers? Just kidding. I was a pro wrestler. And that's an interesting thing. Or even the lives of talk show hosts.
Oh,
and how crazy our lives are. Or is it going to be something really obscure? I mean,
it must be something really obscure. It's got to be something really obscure, and it's got to seem boring, but really be fascinating at its heart. And I'm open to suggestions, and you can find me at author Marilyn Johnson on Facebook or at my website, MarilynJohnson.net.
Yeah, Marilyn, we'd love to follow up and get you back another interview here on Life Improvement Radio, as I'm sure Neil would as well in the Total Education Network.
I'd love to.
Great information, and it's fun because these are
I just friended you, so we'll definitely have that opportunity. Go ahead, Eric.
No, I'm saying these are just great conversations that I think people don't have enough of. And talking about things like archaeology and discovery, to me, it's not a very fun field, so a lot of people in their minds don't interview or interject or bring that kind of content. And I really want to, because this is a really great topic, and it's really piqued my interest.
Oh, fabulous. Well, thank you so much. I'm totally available.
Well, Marilyn, last word before we're going to close out. So you can purchase the book, your website, all these different places in so many ways. And I would say something really obscure would be, I'm trying to think of it, maybe the life, that's so hard to look at what would be considered really boring, of a physicist possibly, or I don't know, we'll have to tweet out some of those ideas, Marilyn, and different things. Do you have a Twitter, by the way, as well? Do you have a Twitter, Marilyn?
Oh, yes, I'm Marilyn A. Johnson on Twitter, and I'm all linked up. I'm linked up everywhere. So, it's a great age we live in when you can find somebody named Johnson, right?
Exactly. Well, good talking to you, Marilyn. Best of luck on all your ventures, and enjoy the rest of the Mind Book Fair, okay?
Thank you.
All right, take care. All right, Eric, I guess we're going to sign off for now for an hour, and we'll be back in an hour. Stay tuned for more life improvement programming, and Eric, I'll talk to you in about an hour, man.
Thank you for listening to Life Improvement Radio. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own and shall not be construed in any way as advice from Life Improvement Radio. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our website. Personal perspectives expressed by the producers, writers, or editors will always be presented as such. Any rebroadcast or retransmission without the expressed written consent of Life Improvement Radio is strictly prohibited. Thanks for listening.